I have all of my dirt ready to go. I'm gonna do all of my pepper planting today. I think I am going to do about 3 seeds in each. Supposed to have like 40 different pepper plants. I'm not sure if we'll have that many, but I'm gonna do like 1 row of pepperoncinis to start, and then we'll just keep going on. And I'll keep you updated on where we land. I have done 2 of these. There's one on the shelf over there, which I will show in a minute. And then there's this one. So what I ended up doing was 2 rows each. So each pepper got 2 rows. I have 2 of jalapeno, 2 of green pepper, and then 2 pepperoncinis. I ended up having more seeds than what they estimate on the packet, which was fine. The only dumb thing I did was I soaked all of them, and so I have some leftover jalapeno seeds and green pepper. So I don't want to throw them quite yet, but I can't save them for next year, so I may have to find a different solution for those 2. So all in all, I have 36 pepper plants now, which will be awesome. I just need to do a nice watering on the top, and then I'm gonna go put them on the tray over here. It's gonna be hard to see with this sun glare, but I've heard that they are a little bit slow to germinate. Well, I will put some water in the below thing here to help them soak up a little bit. And then also I saw if you put plastic wrap, just to help them germinate a little bit better until they actually sprout, and then I'll take the plastic wrap off them. This year I'm choosing to be a little bit more selective with my food, the food that I'm growing, the food that I'm picking out from the grocery store, what I'm choosing to put in my body in general, between processed foods, fast food, you know, eating out, food. I really decided to kick it in gear this year and take my health seriously. I've been on a journey for the last probably 5 years that I have been actually like truly paying attention to ingredients in foods. For those 5 years, I have not been intentionally making the best decisions of the food that I am choosing to put into my body. And I feel like especially in the last maybe 2 years, I have been very loose with it. And knowing that my husband and I would like to start our family somewhat in the near term, we have had many conversations about kind of getting our health into gear, staying consistent with the workout routine, lowering our toxins in our home. And one big piece of that is food. And I have been really going down the rabbit hole of what type of foods that I really want to focus on. Obviously, the whole foods are the best. So whole fruits and vegetables, meats, you know, dairy products to an extent, really limiting fast food in general, and just really trying to cut back on eating out. There's a lot of other ways that I'm trying to minimize the toxic load in my house as well, that I really want to continue sharing with you all, just to make sure that I'm taking care of not only my home, I'm taking care of my health, my husband's health, and our future kids' health. So today I really want to share with you how I am choosing to fill our shelves with homegrown food. This is very exciting to me because I have been on this journey for probably 1.5 years. I believe it was 2024 when I decided to first start canning my own homemade foods. And it's been a fun adventure, to be honest. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a good hobby of mine. I want to show you all the food that I have canned so far, just from my what's been homemade, what hasn't. Also, like, okay, so maybe I started from the grocery store, and now I'm really excited this year because I really want to try to can my own food from my own garden. So I really want to just be an encouragement to you that there's always a starting point. It doesn't always have to be perfect. You can always start somewhere. And I think that's the most encouraging thing, especially when it comes to a non-tox or a low-tox lifestyle. I think it's so overwhelming. You're bombarded with all the messaging of, you know, you have to cut out everything, and pretty soon it's like you can't wear any clothes and you can't eat any food and you can't do anything fun. And I feel when you get down that rabbit hole, it can be very overwhelming. And so my goal is to share with you small steps that I am choosing to do for my health, my hormonal health, my family's health, my future kids' health, all of that. And it's really just getting back to the basic of our simple homegrown food. I fully believe that God provided on this earth a lot of things, all things that we really need to survive. yes, we do have, medical intervention. We do have humans who've had the ability to learn and grow and to help others and serve others in different professional ways. So I'm not disregarding that, but I do feel like food can be our own medicine. And right now, our society has really gone down the path of poisoning ourselves. So I'm here. I have a whole spread in front of me. I'm going to just show you some things that I have canned so far. This is every single different type of thing I have canned in my storage shelves. But I have a few things that I have canned that are not here too, that we've already used up. So I'm going to kind of share with you how that process worked, where I started with it, where I, ended up, if I've done it multiple times, kind of maybe some advice from that, and also just what my canning goals are for next year. So let's start off with pickles. Last year was my first year, so 2025 was my first year of having a garden. I struggled in the cucumber department. I did not get any cucumbers to grow. Any pickles I made were either purchased from the grocery store, which was my least favorite option, or I went the route of finding a local farmer for pickles or for cucumbers to make it into pickles, which was a better option. They just weren't the right type of pickles. They weren't like pickling cucumbers. So this year I have specifically gotten seeds to plant for pickling cucumbers, and that's my goal, is to be able to get those to grow. My first time canning pickles was February of 2025. This is, I think, maybe the last jar or two I have of this batch. These ones were more in the what are they called? Spear styles. So they're a little bit bigger. This version, I believe, were a little bit more sweet. So when I did this first recipe that I had, these ones were a little bit sweeter. I didn't like them as much. They were still good. They turned out good, but they were a little bit soggier and a little bit sweeter. So then I made some tweaks to my recipe. I did another batch of pickles in August of 2025. I did change up different styles, so these ones are just like the round sliced, but I do also have some spears from this batch. These ones were, as you can see from this slice, a lot bigger, so they weren't necessarily exactly what I was hoping for with the smaller pickles that are more pickling style, but I really like these batches that I decided to go for this next round. I had a version that was like a regular version and then a more spicy version, and I think they both turned out great. I'm excited to perfect my pickles this year and use my own pickling cucumbers. I probably have about 5 jars of pickles left, and I've been going through them a decent amount. So I often give them to family too. So those are my pickles. And that is my goal with canning too as a whole, is to be able to provide for family and friends. I love to do the homemade gifts, and this is a perfect opportunity to provide those homemade gifts. That is another reason why it's a way that I can serve people in my life too, by providing some of these homemade goodies. One experiment. This was a sweet chili sauce. This one I realize still has the ring on it. I am fully aware we don't want to store them with rings on, but sometimes it's nice to have them on, because then when I give them to people, they can have a ring to. But the sweet chili sauce is not exactly where I was hoping it would go. Way more liquidy than I wanted it to be. I was hoping it would be more of like a dipping sauce. This actually has been a great sauce to marinate chicken in. So I wouldn't say that I regret doing it. I think it's been a great sauce for that purpose, and I didn't have a ton of jars, so I'm trying to use these up as much as I can when we do any type of chicken. Marinating in this, it actually has been really good. I made that in June of last year. One of my all-time favorites to make is pepper jelly. This one I made in July last year. This batch turned out a little bit liquidy. I did not have enough of that Sure Gel, or like the gelatin, to kind of help it mold together. So this jar definitely, and this batch, was a little bit more liquidy than my other ones. However, I love this pepper jelly. It's great for putting over cream cheese. You just pour it on top and then have crackers and pepper jelly with it. It's a great appetizer. I can't eat cream cheese, so oftentimes I will just like dip it in with pretzels or crackers just on its own. But this is a great serving dish to just have as an app. The first time I made pepper jelly, it was very sweet, and so I was trying to get away from the more sweet batch, but I feel like that batch is still a little bit sweet. So it's that one I don't know. Sometimes I feel like those can be too sweet, so I try to like pull back a little bit on the sugar, but then if you get you know, a lot of peppers in here like this one, it's gonna be pretty spicy. One of my favorite things to make, and it's the last thing I have to share, but I have 4 different things to share, is jam. So jam was the very first thing I started canning, and I think that's actually a great beginner's recipe. Canning does not have to be as scary as it sounds. I used to be like, absolutely not, I would never do that, I'm terrified. It's really not that bad. And I think it's because everybody's afraid of like the food poisoning piece of it. But to be honest, like that, I've never had an issue with my canned foods with food poisoning. As long as you're getting things to a rolling boil, everything seals fine, and you know when if it's not, if it's not sealed. I recommend, if you are interested in starting your canning journey, to go to jam first. I'll do this one first because this is one that I just did this past year. This one was in August of 2025. This is peach jam. I loved this. I have a few jars of these. I honestly forgot that I had peach. This one was made from peaches from the store. I believe we got a bulk pack from Costco when they were in season. This one was definitely from the store. However, it turned out delicious. It's very like fall cinnamon yummy. It just makes me think of fall. So very good jam there. I have 2 jars of strawberry jam, one that I made in October of 2024 and more that I made in July of 2025. You can see the color difference. It's interesting that this one oxidized more, or it's a lot darker than this strawberry jam. This jam had always been darker from the get-go. So from the time that I had like made it and it had kind of set, it was always a little bit darker. This was either my first or second batch of ever doing jam. So was a great experiment. Strawberries that we got from the local strawberry patch. So we did go and pick these ourselves. We didn't grow them on our property, but we did go and pick these ourselves. This batch also was a little bit more liquidy than this one. This batch, I didn't have enough of that gel, like the gelatin that goes in it, the jam. Didn't have enough of that. Same problem as when I made the pepper jelly. I think it was the same time. This batch is from July of last year. I have also made another batch the previous year. Raspberry and blackberry we have on the land. It is wild, so we don't plant it. And this jam is always so fun. This one has a lot more seeds in it because the berries are so much smaller and they're wild. But this jam is so fun to make to me because it is our like one product that we grow on the land that we don't even have to do anything with because they're wild and they just come up. So it's very exciting to have this, and I love making jam. So this is also a fun project because last year in July when I did these batches, I had my mother-in-law come and we made it together. So it was fun to show her how to do it. And I think it's just a fun project, you know, just to teach old life skills that a lot of our grandparents and ancestors used to do that they don't anymore. So that was really fun to gather together and to do that as well. I think the only other thing that I made last year that I did not mention was marinara sauce. I did have to buy those tomatoes from the store because my tomatoes in the garden did not grow very well. So the tomatoes and the peppers tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers are the big ones this year that I'm like really counting on so that I can make all my sauces, because I want to make a lot of tomato sauce, pizza sauce, salsas, ketchup, barbecue sauce, those type of things with all of my homegrown tomatoes. But I did make a batch of large, I think they were like this size. I had like 6 of them of marinara sauce. And we went through them very fast. It was delicious. We loved it. So I'm very hopeful that I am able to grow my tomatoes this year so I can do more homemade, you know, marinara sauces and those type of things. And I did also make blackberry syrup. I believe the first year when I did jam, it was like a blackberry and a raspberry combined. I don't think I have any more of those. I think I'm all out. But the syrup was also really good. So I have done blackberry and raspberry syrup. I think that's what I will do this year. I have so much jam left over still that needs to be used. My focus really this year is a lot more of the tomato-based sauces with some peppers and then more pickles. I really want to do a lot more pickles and maybe some more fun things like corn salsa, maybe even just like pickled peppers. more condiments like the barbecue sauce and the ketchup. And it'd even be nice to just have like diced tomatoes in jars. So those type of things, I want to be able to try to get away from having to buy any canned products from the store and to just make it all on my own. So that's kind of a recap on all of the canning that I did last year and my plans for this year. I do want to share all of my pepper planting that I did. I took some clips of that. Pepper planting was really fun because I had already done the onions, so I kind of knew what to do a little bit for planting, which was a little bit more fun, a little less stressful, but I'll take you over there to show you. Those have been planted 1 day ago. I also did get a heating mat for my pepper plants, so I need to get that plugged in, and I did saran wrap the tops of them to help them grow a little bit faster too. Tomatoes will be planted in 2 weeks, which that is hard to believe. Another thing I want to mention, homemade vanilla extract. We have been doing this now. This is our 2nd year doing this. It's super easy. You can find vanilla beans on Amazon. You can find them at a local store. You can also find them at Costco is where we've gotten them in the past. And you just fill a jar with vanilla beans where you slit them down the middle and you just drop them in the jar. And then you just fill it with vodka. Or you could do like a rum. But I believe we may have done a rum for 1 batch, but I believe all these are vodka. They're definitely stronger. They're not like the fake vanilla. It's like the real vanilla. So you will kind of, when you smell it, you can smell the alcohol. But the longer they sit, the better. I just use from this jar. So I just keep pouring when I run out of mine. But it's very cool to be able to make that. I have a whole nother jar that's not opened. Oh, it smells so good. Like I'm losing my daylight here as the sun is setting, but I just want to share with you my pepper plants that we have been working on. There's really not much to see there. I just planted them yesterday, so there isn't anything sprouting yet, but those are my pepper plants. I have 2 rows of each type. So I have 2 rows of jalapeno, 2 green bell, and 2 pepperoncini. And then these are my onions. You can tell they like to reach kind of towards the window where the light is, so I've been trying to rotate these pretty frequently. They do have a grow light, but also they love the natural light, so. And I've been filling them or watering them from the base, but these all have water in the base too. So this is the heat mat. I just set it under there. I haven't plugged it in yet, but I am going to set that up. I also just want to share that the equipment that you can buy the big pot and you can buy the kits. So grabbing the jars out of the hot water and ladling it in and all of that. You can find all of those products on Amazon. The kit's super easy to find. You can find these Sure gels at Walmart. You can find pickling and canning salt, extra crunch, pickling spice. You can find all of this at Walmart. I even have little jars here for my vanilla. You can find those on Amazon. You can find all of these jars on Amazon or Walmart. So it's not hard to find all this equipment, and I want that to be your encouragement. And you also don't have to spend a ton of money. Yes, the jars will add up, but thrift them. You could find them from local people at thrift stores, Facebook Marketplace. I'm sure there's people in your life that maybe have extra jars laying around. It's not as intimidating of a hobby as it seems like it would be. So that's my encouragement to you. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, coming along with me to share some of the ways that I'm choosing to feed my family this year. I am becoming very passionate about this, especially thinking from a future fertility standpoint, my hormonal health, my overall just health, trying to be more anti-inflammatory in the foods that I'm incorporating in my body. And so if you are into this, I would love to hear from you what you think about it all. Are you into this? What are your favorite foods to make? How are you taking care of your family this year? What are you growing? Are you canning? Have you canned before? Are you new to it? I'm just very curious, so let me know. I'd love to chat with you down in the comments. All right, thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.